The CFTC is keeping a door wide open that XRP just unlocked. This is completely crazy. Wait till you hear it. Okay, let's go right to the important part. It's breaking. XRP receives its first ever US CFTC regulated listing. XRP is listed on the first day of Bitnomeo's formal debut of the first US spot cryptocurrency exchange under CFTC regulation. This means that no other US exchange has allowed XRP to be traded on spot, futures, perps, and options under a federal US regulator. Now, XRP is accepted as conventional collateral. XRP and RLUSD can be posted as margin in the same manner as treasuries and institutions or as stable currency. This is a significant improvement in validity. XRP just transitioned from a cryptocurrency token to the architecture of the US regulated market. It's there. So why should you give a damn? I'll explain this, so pay attention. Here's the true tale of it all. Now, if you want to look at the document yourself, I have it right here on my screen. It's right there, and you can see it. But don't worry, I've already gone over everything and figured out what really matters. As a result, Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin is now regarded as an institutional-grade collateral alongside XRP, which has been drawn straight into the center of the CFTC-regulated U.S. derivatives for spot trading stack. Although positioning RLUSD and XRP as plumbing for regulated market infrastructure is a significant practical and narrative victory for XRP and Ripple strategy, it does not officially render XRP a non-security. In August 2024, Bitnomio self-certified a physical settlement futures contract for XRP-USD with the CFTC. Meet the exchanges inform the CFTC that the product is compliant with CFTC regulations and is eligible for listing unless the agency opposes. The clearing arm of Bitnomio, a recognized designated contract market, is a registered derivatives clearing institution. Thus, a fully regulated futures clearinghouse is where these XRP futures and associated products clear. Since then, Bitnomio has expanded the list of permissible margin collateral for perpetuals, futures, and options to include XRP and RLUSD. It is currently launching a leveraged retail spot cryptocurrency exchange under the auspices of the CFTC. The following are the consequences for XRP. In addition to supporting CFTC-regulated derivatives, physically settled futures, perps, and options, XRP may now be posted as margin on a U.S. clearinghouse, which is how banks typically employ top-tier assets or treasury cash. As a result, XRP has a story about market infrastructure. Therefore, it is recognized as collateral and a settlement asset inside a futures ecosystem that is subject to federal regulation, making it more than merely a trading token. Additionally, it supports the argument for wider institutional use. The action also improves XRP price discovery and data transparency in a regulated setting, which may eventually enable more complex hedging basis trading and possibly structured XRP-related products. The effects on RLUSD and Ripple. By coupling RLUSD with XRP and using it as a stablecoin margin, Ripple acquires a leading U.S. derivatives partner, bringing RLUSD into direct contact with market makers and professional traders rather than just retail payment use cases. Executives at Ripple are already portraying RLUSD as entering practical applications. Additionally, the CEO of Bitnomial characterizes the integration as a component of a larger collaboration to create capital-efficient derivatives infrastructure. A CFTC-regulated clearinghouse's collateral stack will essentially contain Ripple's own USD-backed stablecoin if RLUSD is successful in becoming a preferred margin asset. This is strategically significant for any future tokenization of FX products that Ripple wishes to promote. Alright, so this is already enormous, but there's more. Bitnomial launched the first ever here just now, and you know who is providing them with financial support? Ripple. Yes, Ripple invested money in Bitnomial. That is what I am referring to. While everyone else is barely keeping up, these guys are out there thinking 10 steps ahead, right? Clever move. Okay, so this is a brand new Ripple video. Now press play and listen. As BCG, we have a very positive outlook on stablecoins. We project that between 2.5 and 3 trillion US dollars will be in stable currency by 2030. Both stablecoins and Ripple's RLUSD are experiencing a period of popularity. We think the issuers that prioritize regulation, compliance, and transparency the most will win out. Right now, things are blowing up. It's everything just going insane. Let me demonstrate. According to Bitwise's CIO, Matt Huggan, the company established a Ripple ETF for a straightforward reason. Finally, the playing field has shifted. Ripple and XRP were suppressed as an existential regulatory danger for many years. The SEC case made significant partnerships and real-world implementation all but impossible. But the lawsuit has been dropped. Hold on, I have a brief clarification to make. In this statement, Ripple actually refers to XRP. I would like to correct the record on it. The XRP ETF is at the center of all of this. Take a listen to this. You just introduced a Ripple ETF as well. What made you concentrate on Ripple? Yes. Thus, Ripple boasts a very robust community. It's a Lindy asset that has existed for many years. As a result, we believe that investors desire to be exposed to it through an ETF. The second suggested question in your query is, I believe, what about its real-world use case? And in my opinion, Ripple is a blockchain that has been threatened by existential regulations for the last X years. It was essentially being sued out of existence by the SEC. Because Ripple was facing existential lawsuits from the SEC, there was no opportunity for it to be adopted in the real world, because no one was willing to collaborate and expand upon it. Simply put, that won't occur. Now that those lawsuits have been dropped, there's a chance that this blockchain can find practical applications since it can now compete on an even playing field. Therefore, we introduced the ETF to provide the community and interested parties with excellent exposure and a simple ticker. By the way, we have a fantastic ticker there. It's cool that the ticker is XRP. While we waited for this, we made a reservation for that one. The investment argument then goes that there is a reason why there hasn't been a significant increase in real-world usage. The regulatory threat was the cause, and it has now been made public. Therefore, that does not certain that XRP or Ripple will be successful. However, it implies that this guy has a serious obsession with Solana, as if Solana is the only thing he ever talks about. To be honest, I'm enjoying every minute of XRP, even if there's a part of me that believes it might kill him. Check this out now. Swissborg has launched XRP's first Euro stablecoin that complies with MiCA, Apple Pay, GPay, Google Pay, Swissborg, and Visa. Here is the entire packet. Purchase Europe using 15 fiat currencies. What does any of this actually mean then? Ripple's MiCA stablecoin approach, which is optimistic for XRP in the long run, is subtly advanced by XRPL's genuine utility and credibility in Europe. In reality, what took place here? Schumann Financial Europe is a euro-backed stablecoin that is structured to adhere to EU MiCA regulations and is issued natively on the XRP ledger. Swissborg is now on the list. Europe allows consumers to purchase it in 15 different currencies and utilize it on a regulated European platform. Why is this important to XRP? Now that the first MiCA-compliant euro stablecoin is live on XRPL's chain and connected to a popular European app, the ledger's argument as a regulated payments infrastructure rather than merely a speculative chain is strengthened. Institutional wonderful narrative regulators and banks want to see MiCA compliance on the XRP ledger for just this reason. Along with support from